that relates to fuel economy on the test. That's why I figured let's spend a few minutes on it, okay? So Anita has 2 cars with the following fuel economies. I shortened this, okay, but it's supposed to say which car would have the better fuel economy, the best fuel economy between the two. And your answer should be the sedan, right? Because it has a right fewer liters per 100 kilometers. That's the reasoning behind it. You use a lot less gas, right? Just look at the numbers. That's it. You are supposed to be able to select that. If we give you 20 options, you should be able to pick the best one, okay? Anyways, there we go. And so now B is asking, I'm asking you basically, if you pick the sedan, how many liters are required to travel 4,500 kilometers, okay? So I'll answer it down here. Basically what you start with, folks, is the fuel economy. If you are given this, you may have to calculate this, but you are given that, so use that, and then you ask how many liters to travel a much longer distance of 4,500 kilometers, right? So kilometers line up, X is the unknown, it's liters, so you just cross multiply and divide like that. And that would be, what, 400 and something? 427.5. Okay? Yeah, that's fine. I just don't want to just see the final answer. Like, you need to show me somehow a way that you came up with this, right? So this, if you want to put this in your notes, this is basically the fuel economy that I start with, right? I start with my fuel economy. I just write it as a fraction. To be honest, even if you were to answer a question, we ask you for fuel economy, you write it like this, you're fine. Okay? And then C, how much would it cost you to travel, like in terms of money? You know the liters required. If I give you the gas price, this is today's gas price. Well, it fluctuates, depends on the gas pump, right? On the wherever you're going. You would go cost would be liters. You should have this on your study sheet times the dollars per liter. Basically, that's how you find it. So it would be 427.5 multiplied 1.299. I still have this on my calculator. Cost, right? Times 1.299. 555.32. It's dollars, so you have to round to 2 decimals. So it costs you 500 and something dollars to make that trip. Okay. Used to be a time where gas was 50 cents a liter when I was still probably younger than you, your age. So it would be half of that, right? Or less than half of that. Anyways, so this is fuel economy. Be ready for something like this. We've done that in vehicle finance. It will come up again. So what's the other part from vehicle finance to expect on the test is the loans. And we did NAC on loans. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you kept it. We did that yesterday, the day before. No, we didn't. Did we do something with loans?
No.
Okay, we'll do that yet today. We'll review loans a little bit. I'll give you a piece of paper so you don't have to write anything down for that one. And precision measurement. But remember the precision measurement I did on the board? If you were here every day, you'll know what I'm talking about. You need to be able to find the nominal if I ask you that, or the tolerance, or the min and the max, right? So it's very basic. Like if you know what you're doing, it will take you less than a minute to answer that one. Probably seconds to answer that one. So I'm not talking like it's going to take up a huge chunk, but be ready for that. And so that is it for the review part here. I'll do the loans a little later. I hate suit shopping because nothing fits me. Nothing fits me. I always have to get custom. So I don't go there anymore. Anyways. So your financing, you should have, I don't know what page number it is anymore on vehicle finance, but there's a page dedicated to loans. I would have probably asked you to write it down on the cover of your booklet. But there's this one. Payment is equal to the purchase price minus if there is a down payment. Remember, there may not be a down payment. This is a table rate. Anything over 1,000, they need to either give it to you there or they give you a table. If it's a table, we go 5.75 over 4 years. I match it and it's 2343. That's the number I'm after. So you get a mark for just having that picked. You get a mark. But before you calculate, please figure this out first. This is called what? Loan, right? The 27, that's what you're borrowing. So then you just go 27,700 times 2343 divided by 1,000. That's your payment. 649.011. Is that okay to do that? Is that okay to do that? Nope, it's money. We cannot have this third decimal, okay? So that would be a rounding error. If you like rounding errors, if you like to collect them, that's the way to do it, okay? Calculate the total interest or finance charge. That's this one. We go payment times 4 times 12 or 12/4, it doesn't matter. Just so you know, you cannot have a negative in total interest. If you get a negative, you got to go back and check. You made a mistake with your payment, most likely. Okay? Minus what? 12,000? Let's do bingo. 39,700? No. 12,000? No. This one, right? It's the 27,700 that you're going to subtract. What do we call this part right here? Just these three numbers multiplied. Not quite yet. But just this one, if you were to just multiply these three. Anybody have that on their study sheet? Anybody have TPB on there? Total paid to the bank. Yeah. You have it? Okay. TPB, if you don't know what that means, you better write it out, okay? But this is what you paid the bank, and you subtract the loan from it, and that difference is the interest, okay? That's what they charged you. So this gives you 31,152.48 minus 27,700. That is 3,452 and 48 cents. To be honest, this would be a 2-mark question. Like if we were to collect this, a total interest is usually 2 marks when you have to like calculate this and subtract it from the loan. All that, that's 2 marks. Calculate the interest paid on the first month's payment. This should be a key word that should ring a bell in your brain. First month, okay. That's going to be lowercase I. It calls for the loan times the interest rate divided by 100 divided by 12. That's what it calls for. So this gives me 0.0575, correct? If I divide this, don't fall asleep on me here. Okay, I get that. So it's 27,700 times this divided by 12, and that gives you 132.73. So from this payment, on your first month's payment, the bank is going to say thank you very much. They're going to slice that off your payment. They take that and put it in their profit vault, and then the rest of this goes towards paying off your loan. What is that called? If this is I and this is the rest, or what's remaining, it's called the principal. Remember that? Every single payment, if this is a payment, every payment has 2 components, principal and interest, right? It's always pi. Payment is pi. I don't know if that helps you remember. And we're not going to do D, okay? What's an advantage of financing a car versus leasing it? What would be a good thing about financing it instead of leasing it? You actually get to own it, right? You actually get to keep it, which means you can also make changes to it. You can call it an asset. You can customize it, modify it. You get to keep it. Payments eventually stop. Yada, 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 right? So that's something I would expect you to know. Let's do a depreciation here real quick at number 1. I don't know if you did it. It's okay if you didn't do it, but you should remember this for the cumulative, okay? A new Toyota 4Runner sold for this much. It depreciates at 16% per year. Determine the value of the car after 2 years. So this is what we want. What is the car worth after 2 years? You should remember, right? We figured out 16% first. If you do the math, that gives you 8320. Okay? You subtract it, and you get 43,680. This is how much the car is worth after 1 year. Okay? You lost this much, you subtract it, so now this is the value after 1 year. You repeat the process. Okay, you repeat it. And the second year you lose less. It's 6988.80. Okay? You subtract it one more time. And you get 36,691.20. This is what I'm going to circle. That is the value of the car after 1 year. So the multiple choice cumulative, if you, let's say you figure out the 8320 and the 60, if you circle 6988, and this question is worth 2 marks on the cumulative, you're going to get 1 mark because... Yes?
Could Tristan later come to Gardens, please?
Right now?
Right now.
Yeah, okay. If you circle this as your answer, you get 1 out of 2. Because it tells me for you to get 6988, you did a bunch of work already. But if you want full marks, you must circle this number, the 3691.20. Okay? So that's how it's going to work on the cumulative. So it's not like all or nothing. You still get to gain some, but only if it's worth 2 marks. If it's worth a 1 marker, it's all or nothing. Okay? Most of them are 1. But some in vehicle finance, we thought it would be fair to make it worth 2 because it's a lot of work. Okay? Next, question 2. Antonio buys a used car at a dealership. So it's used dealer, right? The base price is $21,900. There's a trade-in for the old one worth $5,400. Calculate the total purchase price after tax. You go $21,900 minus the trade-in. You should all have the formula, right? What does it say on your formula? Sticker minus trade times 1.12, and then there's a whole whack load of stuff yet, right? Safety, parts and labor. We ignore it because it's not happening here. This is it. So you get 16,500 times 1.12. So here's your final answer, 18,480. This is another example because I wrote the cumulative, all right? So I can speak on it. If you were to circle 16,500, you would get 1 out of 2 if this is a 2-mark question. But if you want full marks, you must, if it says after taxes, you have to select this one. There's always going to be 5 options. Every question has 5 options, okay? Every single one is like the ones that aren't right are basically a mistake that you could have made. So I kind of calculated it. It's like, oh, I wonder if they divide instead of multiplying what they're going to get, right? And so that's how I came up with all the other options. So you got to be careful. All right, we're done here. This is the vehicle part.